This is KGW News at 11.
It was hard to really grieve the fire when we had so many people coming to help us.
Nearly 2 years later, these Oregon wildfire victims have a new home. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Falkers. As we talk about the upcoming wildfire season in the region, so many communities are still in the aftermath of fires that hit home in 2020. Galen Etlin shows us how the town of Detroit is rebuilding with the power of community.
Detroit Lake is now peaceful and blue. Peace that means something extra these days. In 2020, the Beachy Creek fire tore through neighboring communities, destroying entire towns.
It was a very sad and tragic thing.
Michelle Warden was one of many who lost her family home in Detroit.
I've lived in this community for 50 years.
The fire left people with few options: move or rebuild.
Like most people know how to buy a house, but not build one.
Charlie Carr is president of Northwest Rebuild, a nonprofit of volunteer architects who came together for Oregon wildfire victims.
My thought was 3 months after that, where are these people going to be? They're still not going to have a home.
Through donations, they help provide custom home designs, building tips, and help finding ways to reduce construction costs for victims, people who have been through the trauma of a lifetime.
To add that on top just seemed unfair.
Michelle Muller is an architect and designer who helps run Northwest Rebuild.
These guys have full-time jobs and do this on the weekends and evenings, and they do it because they care.
We believe in service and helping people.
And we feel it.
And after about 16 months of collaboration, the Warden family has keys to their new home.
Just ecstatic, honestly, just grateful. These are the most wonderful human beings I have met in my life.
People who would not have connected without this shared goal of wildfire recovery.
Extended family now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And elsewhere in Detroit, that extended family is celebrating life on the rebound with the grand opening this week of a new community center, a sign that from the ashes, new beginnings can rise and peace can return.
What are you feeling about the future now?
Hopeful, really hopeful. We now have a place for our kids to come home to, our grandkids to come home to.
Galen Etlin, KGW News.
Wow, so much work still to be done, but it's so amazing to see that community support. Let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, you know, those fires that burned down Detroit, believed to have started from lightning. We have seen some lightning bolts out there today, but not a big concern.
No, not at all. Of course, when the thunderstorms hit, I mean, some of those lightning-caused fires, I mean, they smoldered for weeks, and then we had the big wind of it, and that's what really started everything and spread everything during Labor Day weekend of 2020. But yeah, there's no fire danger out there tonight, but we've been seeing a lot of rain with these thunderstorms. You know, the other thing that can be challenging this time of year is dry thunderstorms. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of showers move through, especially throughout parts of the Portland area, where we've seen more than a quarter of an inch of rain. Basically since midnight. You can start to see those showers taper off a little bit. Where it's been very active is basically along the Oregon-Idaho border, where there was a severe thunderstorm warning for a couple of hours ago. That has since expired just about 45 minutes ago or so. But you can kind of see where all the thunderstorms have been just hitting the east side of the state basically since late this morning and into a good part of the afternoon. We'll zoom in a little bit. You can see some of those blues. Well, those are the severe thunderstorms that rolled through just a couple of hours ago. Some what I'd say breezy conditions with gusts of about 60 miles per hour, and some reports of intense quarter-size hail. So pretty intense storms out there. Relatively calm throughout the coast and the valley earlier today, although we did see several inches of shouldn't say several inches, but heavy downpours a good part of the afternoon and evening hours. And as we head into the next couple of days, we'll see conditions really improve. A few spotty showers for tomorrow, then heading into Tuesday, we'll start to dry out a little bit. You can see those heavy downpours are going to continue along the central Oregon coast right now. Temperature of 52 degrees, very uncomfortable. I pointed this out during the 5 and 5:30 shows, but when 100% humidity, it's very uncomfortable out there. And as you look at the rainfall amounts up and down the I-5 corridor, we've seen over a quarter of an inch of rain now, a third of an inch of rain along the central and southern part of the Willamette Valley. In Newport, more than a half of an inch of rain. And there is some brighter conditions in the forecast. We just have to wait a couple days for that. I'll talk more about that in detail in just a few minutes.
That humidity, though, wow, it's wild. All right, thanks, Joe. As another child killed in the Uvalde tragedy is buried today, more groups are calling for stricter gun control in the U.S. 4 bishop chairmen from the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops sent a letter to Congress. Also, some of Texas's biggest Republican donors and self-proclaimed gun enthusiast signs a letter in the Dallas News. It calls for more background checks, red flag laws, and raising the gun purchase age to 21. Later this week, the parents of one of the victims of the mass shooting will be testifying before Congress. The panel will also hear from a 4th grader who covered herself in her classmates' blood and had to play dead to survive during that rampage. Calls for the demolition of Robb Elementary School, where the shooting took place, continue to grow. Many parents of students who survived say their children should never go back to that building. Over the weekend, Congressman Tony Gonzalez said that he is working with many private and public partners to ensure no child will ever have to return. Senator Roland Gutierrez says President Biden offered to secure a federal grant for demolition. That may take some time, so the district is deciding how to realign enrollment across other schools ahead of the return date in August.
I'm going to be pushing the president and the governor to work together to make sure that they're able to build them a new school.
In addition to working with private and public partners, Congressman Gonzalez says he's asked for emergency federal grants to help for the upcoming school year in Uvalde. We want to turn now to the pandemic. In the last 2 months, we've seen the coronavirus on another surge, but it appears that surge is at or near its end. The latest forecast for Oregon is out. Tim Gordon takes a closer look.
COVID-19 has proven to be very adaptable. New variants have kept the pandemic going. The BA.2 variant got infections and hospitalizations increasing in Oregon since early April. Now the end of the latest surge of COVID-19 is finally here, according to OHSU's Peter Graven.
I'm comfortable saying that. I think we saw a peak recently in the Northeast. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't have that happen here in Oregon. I think we're right around the top and should start seeing some declines.
Graven is the man Oregon health officials and all of us have listened to for what to expect in the state. His latest COVID-19 forecast has the peak in cases here, or any day now, and hospitalizations maxing out by mid-June, with a peak of 313 hospitalized in Oregon on June 14th.
I do think that's in our future. I'm not expecting an additional surge here.
In Multnomah County, health officials see what may already be a peak, possibly putting the county a little ahead of the rest of the state. Now, Public Health Officer Jennifer Vines is watching closely with some hopefulness for summer.
And whether it's a peak and a rapid drop, whether it's a plateau, it's harder and harder to predict exactly how things will go. But we do know that once a variant moves through the population, it does eventually run out of people to infect.
The success of vaccinations and herd immunity is real. Despite that, health officials know there is a lot of COVID still in the community. These latest Omicron variants proving to be more transmissible, but with less severe symptoms for most people. That keeps hospitalizations and deaths down. But don't expect declines coming to drop to zero.
It's not like this is going away. We expect this to continue to kind of move through the population, and then a new variant is going to try hard to take up that space afterwards.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
And Graven says looking forward, he is watching the BA.5 variant most closely. He says it has caused a big increase in cases in Portugal, but a lot less impact in Austria. So it's still unclear what to expect here, but there are already some cases in Oregon. You can read all about it at kgw.com.